Hello, beautiful angels. We have amazing, again, transformational, exciting activation of our highest potential ahead of us. We are working with Orin, expanding the field of tetrahedrons. And so, I only really got to see my own tetrahedrons a few weeks ago when me and Anne went to the Serpent Mound in Ohio. And if you have Netflix, Graham Hancock, he made the beautiful Netflix series called Ancient Apocalypse. And one of the episodes is about the Serpent Mound in Ohio. Now, it's fabulous. I watched it again last night, and that's actually why I went to Ohio. I really wanted to be there to experience it myself. And what was so incredible about the Serpent Mound, and also the area around it, it's in the town of Peebles. And so me and Anne, we stayed in a retreat center, which is really in the middle of nowhere. And actually, Graham Hancock stayed at the same retreat center because they wouldn't allow him to go to the Serpent Mound. And so we stayed there too. And every day you hike and you do yoga and you meditate. And so it's very sacred. And what I found so fascinating about that place is that your third eye opens wide, and it just opens wide. And then you see constantly into the ethers. Now, to me, we stayed there, I don't know, 5 days maybe. It was unbelievable. It was like every step you take, you're receiving ancient knowledge. Every step you take, you see into the ethers. And that was actually the first time I really got to see my own field of tetrahedrons. So it became very real for me. And I'm sharing it for those who maybe might think we are visualizing, maybe what's the point of having tetrahedrons around you? And the thing is that I got to see that all of reality is actually made of these tetrahedrons. And I shared a little drawing, which I put in my journal. I don't know if I have it here. Oh yeah, here. It's not complete at all. It was more like a quick sketch, realizing that the planet herself has a field of tetrahedrons. And then I was able to see what I heard is a wrinkle in time, how the tetrahedrons around the Earth move super fast. But then I also saw like the whole page should be filled with tetrahedrons, so it should be really like what I was showing before, like this. But the flow around the Earth seemed to be stuck. Now, to me, this was like, I was able to watch it for like 90 minutes. I was just looking at it, zooming in, zooming out. It was just going on. It was absolutely incredible. And so to me, a place like that, where you don't have cell phone service, where you are away from, humanity really, and the different energies, you are in the middle of the woods, by a sacred site, it really enhances your ability, of course, to perceive reality. And so what I learned from this is how very real the tetrahedrons are, that we are not visualizing them, but we are just simply connecting with them. And they exist around us anyway. We have personal field of tetrahedrons that plugs into the planetary field, but we also have a cosmic field. Now I was able to see that in cosmic field of tetrahedrons, it's actually very slow movement. It's very kind of conscious, slow, eternal movement, a movement of eternity, very slow and conscious. And then around the Earth, the movement was unbelievably fast. It was really speeding. And so I realized the importance of silent meditation, where we plug into these higher realms, where we have stillness, and then we actually plug into what you would call the mind of God. And so in the stillness of our own being, we can really attune to the mind of God. Now, this to me is really our purpose, to kind of transcend the illusion of this world. There is a lot of illusion going on here. And the illusion, to me, one of the big illusions is the illusion of this time that seems to be so kind of slow here. You wake up in the morning, it seems like you have 24 hours a day. It seems like the year has 365 days. It seems like it. And at the same time, when you attune to this higher kind of presence, you transcend this illusion of the time here that actually moves very fast and we don't even know it. And then you go into the slow, eternal moment of God. And in that presence of the divine mind and divine time, it doesn't even seem to be time because it's so just present. you actually get to know so much more of who we are, why we are here, what we are doing here, what happened to us, where are we going, what is this ascension all about. And one of the things that I saw is actually that the time flow is being corrected, and we are part of this correction. So what was told to me, the wrinkle in time, we are rectifying the wrinkle in time. Now I know other people have seen this and it's happening. And as you know, for example, Jose Arguelles, kind of, you would say, the father of harmonic convergence in 1987, he spoke a lot about how we need to attune to the real time, the time of nature, the natural time. Thank you, Romina, for posting that. And so we are attuning our own being to the natural time. Now, a lot is happening here. My great teacher, Yogananda, he gave us those important steps that now will become more and more and more important. I already saw some people talking about this. They are receiving the same information, that as a human being, what is changing the most right now is actually our body. And our body was holding so much density. And again, it's something I learned from my visit to the Serpent Mound. I was given information about, the fall from grace, even a little deeper into more detail. And the information is not so important, except for what happened, that the body fell into really severe density. And today you would say that became our normal kind of body consciousness. So when we look at each other in this, our physicality, and we say, humans, they procreate through sex, and this is how the body gets sick, this is how we get healthy, this is how we age, this is how we die. All of it was revealed to me as more, you would say, the fallen template. And what led to it, there's a lot of things that led to it. But actually, I have memories of Mu, when human beings, for example, were beings of so much more light, in light forms, and they were creating the way that God creates, through actually the mind, where you create template in the mind, through sound, you run energy through it, you really create the way you desire creation to be. And I remember that we used to create, we would say we created children through that way too. There was no such thing as sex. There was this level of physicality that didn't exist at the beginning. And we created really through combining our light, combining our intention, combining design. And so that was the original blueprint or template of the human being, to be very angelic. And so what we have here today is this. I'm just looking at my own body here. And that is being changed the most. Now, Yogananda, he was teaching us those steps that are in those videos on YouTube that you can do again and again and again. And they really can change everything about who we are, because we, number one, we purify our being. So I always say, when Yogananda was teaching the generations that he was teaching, this information was not given to them because it was not the right time. Kaleshwar, when he was teaching everything prior to 2012, really, because he departed from the physicality in 2012 in March. And so what we have here now are very accelerated tools. What we have here now, for example, the violet flame, is such an amazingly powerful tool for purification. So what used to take decades takes days, if we do it right. So it's very, very different. And what we are doing, number one, we are liberating the human body from the density. And we don't do that from some detox, some juicing. That's not how we liberate from density. And we actually have to take the approach of what the body is and how the body is created through the 5 elements. And, for example, Kaleshwar, he taught the purification of the 5 elements, wonderful. But also we have the violet flame. And the violet flame, to me, is the most advanced, the easiest, the fastest acting tool we have right now. So with Yogananda, he was also teaching me before 2012. And so I haven't received any huge new teachings from him since then. He comes now and again, he gives me some information, but nothing like those steps that he gave me then. And so I also have to admit that too was delivered before 2012. And so to me, what we have here now, I would always recommend, please follow Patricia Cota Robles. She delivers amazing updates every week, and to me they are very accurate, of course. And so that is the new teaching, what Patricia is teaching, which is ascension updates. What is now important? What tools do we have now? And of course we have the violet flame. And so Yogananda taught the purification by the living fire of God. And that could be the violet flame for us. And so, number one, we purify. We purify the 5 elements within us. They are not only physical body, but more than that, they are the effect of our mind, the effect of our emotion, the effect of our actions. You would say almost karmic patterns that are held within the body. And the body becomes kind of like the library of all our thoughts, feelings, actions, and words. But it is our earthly bodies. And our earthly body is not only the physical body, our earthly body is, of course, our mental body, which usually is very distorted, very out of balance. Our emotional body, which is the result of our mental body very often. And you would say that those are really the densities that we hold, of course, and the etheric body. And so when we purify our being, for example, we can do it with Orin, where Orin has the beautiful transmission that we do often. And we purify with the violet flame, and we work with the devas, because the devas are of the elemental queendom. And the devas are the beautiful creation beings they create. The devas hold the form. And so we have a body elemental, but we have elementals that are also within us, creating really the form of our thoughts. And so let's say when we have beautiful thoughts all the time, we are creating very angelic elementals. When we have dark thoughts, and I hope nobody has dark thoughts anymore, that we create actually, you would say almost dark elementals. And so our thoughts become things, as you know from Divine Mother. That's why it's really good to actually have a process, an ideal every morning, where you attune yourself to the beauty that Creator is. And so, connecting to beauty, beautiful thoughts, beautiful patterns, beautiful feelings, and even making a promise to yourself that when you feel that you are sinking into kind of the gray area, that you will stop and you will find something that can shape-shift you. And I always say nature is very shape-shifting, meaning that when we, let's say, are sinking in our vibration and we're going lower and lower away from peace, love, and joy, that we actually stop, we pause and say, hang on a second, I think I'm sinking. My boat is sinking. I need to be uplifted again. And so maybe sitting in nature, doing some breathing exercises, stretching a little bit, always think of it as shape shifting. So our energy field, sorry, I didn't actually, today is a holiday, so I'm having a slow start, doing some yoga and stretching since 6 o'clock, but here, I didn't put the slides in order. Here is our energy field, right? And of course, we have more than 7 chakras, the main chakras. But actually, we want to be shifting into a better shape. And we are thinking in terms of energy. So if we can use sound, stretching, this is a good stretch. We want to stretch not only the body, but we are stretching also our energy. And we want to make kind of new shapes within the energy. We want to be in our light body. We want to be in our light. Sunshine, breathing, chanting, could be reading, it could be meditation, a little bit of silence, but always connecting with that which is the most important. Yes, thank you. Of course, taking a cold shower. To me, freezing cold shower, first thing I wake up in the morning, I hop in a super, super cold shower, as cold as it gets. If it was colder, I would be really glad about it because it shocks your system. You breathe differently, you chant your Oms, and you go out and you are, in this new energy field, and your magnetism expands, of course, and then you do all your divine work. And so, I'm kind of sharing all sorts of different things, but what is important is that I have a beautiful squirrel here hopping in front of the window. It's really fun. And so what is important is to constantly shapeshift into higher and higher and higher version of thyself. So that was step number 1 with Yogananda, purification. Step number 2, working with the angelic queendom, adding light to your being, expanding your light. That's what we do here when we work with the light body, of course. And the next thing is we want to get to know our soul. And what we are doing here, you know, and this is what I hear the seers are seeing now as well, is the importance of actually coming into an alignment of the physical with the non-physical. The onion that we are is now kind of coming into more balance, more fluidity, more alignment to the flow of source, aligning with source consciousness, aligning with your own divine self. And so you can think of it as, once again, your spine, which is not only physical, but also non-physical. And so you see how the 12 chakras run through this design. And we want rainbow in every single chakra that we have. Rainbow, pure rainbow coming out. So not like here in the picture, but just rainbow coming out of us. Through every single chakra, just all rainbow light. All 12 aspects of divinity. So we have such beautiful colors. And all these colors come through every chakra, every system that we have. And so this is part of our ascension process. Now, we are connecting with our soul. That's the next layer in our beautiful body here that we have. And then beyond the soul, we connect with the spirit. And through the spirit, we actually get to know our divine self. Again, this is self-exploration, but it's part of our ascension process. Becoming more than the human being who only kind of perceived herself, himself, as the body with some mind and some emotions, and occasionally had an open heart. This is a new design. Actually, in higher realms, this design has a name. And what they always tell me when I'm in higher worlds, they always call this design Hercules. And Hercules, as you know, the story, of course, it's not a story that really happened the way they describe it. Hercules has the 12 labors. And of course, the 12 labors are the 12 bodies, the 12 chakras, and we embody each one of them. So we are embodying the original design, the sacred circle of 12, but we are creating it as a multidimensional structure within. So these days, we want to be aligned, number 1, of course, with the physical body, so that the physical body is actually a receiver for your own divinity. So I experienced the solar flash, I always say 4 or 5 times. And what actually happened, and I think all of us will experience the same thing, and many people already also experienced it, is that, you know, you wake up in the middle of the night or you're meditating and suddenly something aligns within the body. It opens up the energetic channels of the body, the new meridians that we have, the new chakra system, the new spine that we have. And then the light from the galactic core comes flooding into you through the sun and you get upgraded. So for those of you who experienced it, I don't know if it's the same for everyone, but you know, I look at YouTube, and so those who experienced it, they describe it the same way. It runs through these first non-physical channels. You can witness it. To me, it was almost painful, I have to say, because you know, when it came into my brain, came into my spine, I compared it to like taking a hammer and really hitting the spine with a hammer, and then the spine was vibrating for the rest of the day. And you know, very, very intense. And so I experienced it at least 4 times. I have to look, I think I wrote it down if it was 4 or 5, but every time it was the same thing. This most intense light runs into the physical body. So, you know, physical, that's the thing about ascension, right? So this is the teaching for this, you know, 2023, we call it. Again, this was not really shared before by the great yogis and avatars because it was not an option. Now it is an option. Now it is planetary. Yeah. So when Yogananda did it, it was something very similar, but nothing like the solar flash. The solar flash, you actually get to see it. Your third eye opens, your brain is rewired. You are rewired to become a new person, really. It's really different, because I think what's happening is that our nervous system is actually being rewired to work differently, to have higher perceptions, to understand who we are, not to be so random, to be very deliberate about how we use the world and so on. So the body, this is to me now the key, And this morning, I saw this quote that someone posted on YouTube. This is a quote from Yogananda. The spine is the highway to the infinite. Your own body is the temple of God. It is within your own self that God must be realized. And so, once again, to me, this is just showing us that the body is being upgraded. Now, in 2019, Yogananda came to visit me in October. And, this is before the so-called pandemic. And Yogananda said, just watch, Adi. This world will now experience cellular purification. And so, I kind of knew that something big was coming. And so then whenever I was looking at a person, I was still, going to the office and working in an office, I would see people exploding in front of my eyes and with my third eye. And so I really had no idea what was going on, but I could see that something is going on at the cellular level of the human being. And so much, of course, happened 2019, 2020. It was all cellular purification, as far as Yogananda told me. And so a lot has been adjusted on the cellular level. So now the body actually has changed so much. And like I said, maybe the day before yesterday, that we still look the same, maybe, but actually on the cellular level, we have changed so much. We no longer hold so much density, and we are actually releasing more and more and more and more density from our cells, and from, whatever was held within the body as the third dimension is being released. And so the body is becoming actually fifth dimensional. Of course, this ascension process is not complete just yet. We are in the midst of it. And so we keep going and we keep helping the body, So for example, when I go and visit the new earth, I understand from the people I talk to there, because there are humans who already exist and live on the new earth, the importance of purity, physically, emotionally, mentally, etherically, of course. And so whatever we can do to assist with that kind of purity. What Patricia says as well, absolutely. So when you look at the body now with your third eye, you see exactly how much we have changed. But it's good to actually, physical body pain can be part of the change. Yes, absolutely. A lot of things. Recently, as far as I can tell, a lot of people are experiencing strange things like itching. And I mean, yes, the spine is the highway to the infinite. So if anyone is experiencing itching, yes, itching, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I spoke to so many people who just, they were saying, oh, something must be wrong with me. I'm itching all the time. Yeah, that's what it is. So I always only have one answer to all of it. It's ascension. It is ascension. Changes to what we like to eat, what we don't like to eat, definitely legs, everything. Absolutely. Yeah, the nothingness, Lorraine, that's another thing. I also think a lot of people will spontaneously be leaving the body and coming back, Absolutely. Yeah, whatever Anrita says, I trust as well, becoming crystalline. And so today we're going to have, I wanted to share one more thing, actually. The leaving the body, I see a lot of people, are actually having spontaneous out-of-body experiences. And I always say, when you find yourself out of body, remember to chant Om. It's a great thing to do once you come out of body, because it gives you the steering wheel. So when you randomly end up in different realms, doesn't have to be even higher realms, remember, chant Om. It will help you navigate the space. And so the other thing, so when we went to the Serpent Mound, we went on beautiful hikes every day, and the Hope Springs Institute has beautiful trails and there's no one around. So you are kind of just walking on these beautiful loops in nature, and they have kind of temples that they build out of rocks. And so you can stop and you can go into, the depth of your being, you can meditate. And we will be going back also as a group, actually, in December for winter solstice. And so we are standing there with Anne, and we chant Om, and we do our meditations. And then suddenly this guy appears to me. Of course, I know him, not that I ever met him before, but we all know him from ALKS, right? And he appeared like this with the red. It was very, very specific red. And he was kind of floating above us, and he was above my head to my right. And he starts talking to me, and he tells me that he is the guardian of the next planetary cycle. Now, to me, this was like, whoa, the guardian of the next planetary cycle, Baba, time to learn about you. That's all he told me. And then he disappeared. So yesterday I texted Alex. I just wanted to check in with her to see, is this possible? And she said, absolutely true. He is the guardian of the next planetary cycle that we will call the Golden Age, the Satya Yuga. And also, some of you work with Alex. She's one of the great students of Kaleshwar, but also many of you found Monica at the Divine Mother Center, also beautiful. Follow them on YouTube. They do amazing things. They have beautiful classes. They do a lot of teaching and fire pujas. And Monica, about 10 years ago, also made a video that I found yesterday about Sai Baba being actually the guardian of Satya Yuga. Now, what I found so interesting, I listened a little bit to the video yesterday, and she is saying something that really struck me. Divine Mother told us several months ago, and if you guys know the answers to the questions in the chat, please share about the Divine Mother Center with Monica. And they have a great YouTube channel that you can often just for free watch beautiful transmissions of energy and do some chanting. And then ALKS. They both are students of Kaleshwar, and Kaleshwar had, like, what did they say, maybe 1,000 close students, where he really taught for many years the same students. And so several months ago, Divine Mother told us, I met with her in higher realms, and she said she will stop producing what we call here illusion, that she will stop producing Maya. And, I trust Divine Mother. And again, that's not the teaching that you would hear prior to 2012, because, there was a lot of illusion still being produced. But anyway, so she said she's going to stop producing illusion and Maya. And so in the video that Monica did about 10 years ago, yesterday, she was sharing that when Sai Baba becomes the guardian of this planetary cycle, that it will be the end of Maya and the end of illusion. And so pretty amazing. And so today, let us go into this beautiful work once again to explore the realms of infinite possibilities. This one, I love so much, this work, because once again, we get to be part of something so much bigger. And as you build your tetrahedrons, as you build the field, you start having experiences and access to higher and higher and higher realms. As you know, the key to entering these higher realms is always love. And love equals consciousness. When we are conscious, we are loving. When we are loving, we are choosing consciousness. I definitely recommend Marty, also the Daben's light body, for those who are interested. It is very similar and yet also very different. You learn sounds and frequencies that activate the light body. And what I like about it personally, so it depends on how much money you want to spend, of course. If you have unlimited resources, also do Daben. If you don't, we're going to be doing Oren here, and Oren's work, of course, is what Oren really came here for, to do this work with the light body. But I like both, because when you do the work with Daben, you actually have frequencies that you then sound within yourself to connect with your light body. And I like doing it whenever I'm going to like a new sacred site, when I'm traveling to beautiful places, to connect with the spirit of the place, to connect with cosmos. And you do it the same way like you would do the tetrahedrons. You're connecting through the roots and through the crown. So also these kind of funnels. So that's the difference. And so here we are, plugging into higher realms with these beautiful master beings who are working through all of us, of course. This is track number 3, and it is 28 minutes. So this beautiful work, it's a very transformational. And once again, if you can open your third eye, then open your third eye and watch what is happening around us. I always follow the same process for opening of the third eye, which I highly recommend. And that is, of course, having your spine straight, ideally be sitting, attuning your spine to your higher self, your soul, your spirit, your divine self. If you cannot stay awake, that's totally fine. It's even better, actually. I like it when I kind of, go so deep that it feels like I'm not awake, but at the same time, of course, you are still meditating. And so when we lift our chin slightly, you can do it with me right now. Then your physical eyes start gazing into the middle point, the third eye, and you are actually gazing into the back of your forehead. And by lifting the gaze, truly, even though your eyes are closed, you are looking into the middle point, the single eye, and you are activating your pineal gland. It requires deep relaxation. So the third eye opens much easier when we actually feel tired physically and, maybe mentally, which is ideal. So mental fatigue, when we have no thought, is a perfect place to start. You can do it while laying down, or you can do it while sitting up. So if you are feeling shaking in the body, which I saw as a comment, that is really awakening of our life force. And it's good to mention what life force is and what it isn't. I know I always share, I don't like calling it Kundalini, some kind of coiled serpent dormant at the base of the spine. That is our fallen state. Our original blueprint, our original template of the physical body was that we are completely filled with rainbow light, that we have a rainbow body ignited by the 12 aspects of divinity, and that we are beings of rainbow light. That means nothing in us is dormant. We are not asleep. We don't have some coiled serpent at the base of the spine that only can be awakened by sex or a meditation. We actually used to be beings fully ignited. Our life force was that beautiful rainbow light that was flowing through us as a magnetic flow. It was magnetism of the mother, magnetism of the father. And they were meeting in our hearts because we are beings of love. And this is pretty much what we used to look like. And so when we degraded into much more density and physicality, our life force became dormant, became asleep, became the Kundalini serpent at the base of the spine. And so we then developed techniques like Tantra and, also the different meditation techniques, of course, that we have, trying to awaken this life force within us. This life force originally was our nourishment. We used to be free beings. We didn't need things like food. We didn't need things like money. We didn't even need things like, houses and all of it. It's hard to actually understand unless we remember, because we used to be fully ignited. In this world, what today we call sexual energy was originally our life energy. We used to be beings fully ecstatic, and that ecstasy had nothing to do with sex or sexual something. It was our life. We used to be fully free, sovereign beings, only nourished by the magnetic flow of Mother, Father, God through the heart. Imagine. So when we today experience the awakening of this life force, it can feel like we are shaking, it can feel like, for me, sometimes it feels like an earthquake. And so it can feel like fire. It can have many different physical sensations. But actually this work that we do here, of course, awakens this, right? Because you are liberating yourself. You are liberating the burdens of the lower bodies and awakening yourself to your freedom. And actually, I experienced this freedom, and you become so free that you completely unplug yourself from all the systems here, from the matrix, so-called matrix, you know, like in the movie. So you unplug, just like in the movie. That movie is absolutely prophetic, right? It's esoteric meaning and all of it. You actually completely disconnect and you reconnect to that true self, which you have always been. We just lost touch with that. So that's what it is. Yes, our rainbow light. So the more we can, you know, liberate from the lower self, the better it gets. We become so much freer, and we actually realize we don't need so many thoughts. We don't need so many emotions. We don't even need feeling. We just become all love. And also we realize that the body then upgrades with us to these higher states of being on the cellular level, but also our nervous system upgrades. The movie Matrix, to me, that I know there's violence in it, but still the movie has definitely meaning after meaning after meaning. It's just meaning. You know, we are Neo, that is the Christ self, disconnecting from the matrix, unplugging from the illusion of needing something, right? If you've seen the movie, you know, in the Matrix, it all seems very real. There's a guy who likes his wine, he likes his steak, but once you are beyond the Matrix, it's very much emptiness, and so on and so on. So we'll continue our work. I posted the times again on the website. We will be ending on June 3rd, and this is our purpose here. We will be connecting every day with our highest potential, because we already exist in parallel realities. And in those parallel realities, you already exist as a completely enlightened, free being who knows it all, has all the skills and tools. And that's the one we will be connecting with. There's only one day where we have only one alignment instead of two. And I can remember which one it is. I think it's the 30th or the 31st, maybe 31st, but it's all on the website right now. So thank you so much. And again, before you go to bed, remember your beautiful tetrahedrons, put them around you, in you, and then move through the portal into higher realms. Thank you so much. Many blessings.